Hey everyone, Alex from Shape Gaming here. I want to take a few minutes to talk about the most recent changes to Mistweaver and how it feels currently on the PTR when looking at Mythic Plus. Before I get into that, I want to thank everyone that's been tuning into the content. If you find this video helpful, consider hitting that subscribe button and giving it a thumbs up, as it will help me continue to grow my channel. Let's first take a look at the blue post that Blizzard put out a few days ago. A few days ago, we received a few changes to Mistweaver in a blue post. The first change we have here is basically a no-brainer. Rising Sun Kick is now a default skill. I feel like certain skills that are core to a healer's rotation should just all be default. Forcing us to waste a talent point on this would be comparable to making Priest spend a point in Smite. I honestly think this was only there because Blizzard needed a throwaway talent point to help with the initial class tree build. Overall, this is a good change because it frees up a point, although it doesn't really change too much for us in the class tree. It almost feels like Blizzard is trying to prune the Mistweaver class tree to help give us ways to reach additional nodes, like Strength of Spirit, to lean into their focus on increasing spell harm use. Overall, I don't feel like this is too impactful of a change for our class tree though. The next change we have is some talent movement on our spec tree. Blizzard has swapped the location of Healing Elixir and Zen Pulse. I've pulled up the current PTR tree and the current tree on live to compare this change. On the left side, we've got the current live servers and what most players are probably running in a Mythic Plus environment. On the right side, you'll see the updated PTR tree, which overall just gives us more options. You can see the switch between Healing Elixir and Zen Pulse. Because of the reduced point in Ancient Concordance and the swapping of these two skills, you get a little more options. If you don't like Zen Pulse for whatever reason, you could take 2 points in Dancing Mists now, because there's no reason why you wouldn't take Healing Elixir due to the passive healing that it gives you now. The reduced point in Ancient Concordance that we receive also allows you to take Focus Thunder, which gives us additional options in a rotation on how we want to spend our Thunder Focus Tea. For instance, I can now get 2 instant Enveloping Mists, or 2 back-to-back Rising Sun Kicks for damage and hot extension, or 2 free Vivifies, or a mixture of any of those empowered skills. Overall, I think this minor swap provides additional player agency in how you want to spend your points, even though in the end I think the Zen Pulse talent will still be the most optimal if you're pushing the higher keys. I'm going to circle back on the starter build update in just a minute after mentioning that the final change listed here is just a fix to an interaction that wasn't working appropriately, so there isn't much to say about the final bullet. Alright, let's take a quick look at the starter build before discussing how Mistweaver feels in Mythic Plus currently, because the starter build certainly isn't the best for newer players that are just trying to understand the spec. So here's the suggested starter build for Blizzard. Really, all you need to know about this build is that it's not that great. If you were to use this as a caster build for Mythic Plus, there are several talents that aren't optimal. My suggestion would be to swap to Chrysalis, Gift of Celestials, remove Peaceful Bending so that you can get your shield on gift spells. If you're looking to run a Fist Weaving build, this starter build is completely useless. Again, I find this to be quite interesting. You would think that Blizzard would opt for a starter build that focuses on the Fist Weaver or Phalanx Stomp build, since it seems that is the optimal spec in most cases. The last topic I want to cover in this video is how Mistweaver Monk is feeling so far in Mythic Plus on the PTR. Let's focus on a few changes made over the last few updates. Recently, Blizzard made Healing Elixir a passive effect that procs once you dip below 40% health and automatically once it recharges to a third charge. To replace the active pressing of this button, Blizzard instead is trying to make us use Expel Harm by buffing it. Overall, the change to Healing Elixir being passive is good for newer players, however it isn't great for high-end players that relied on the Healing Elixir to heal them prior to a large damage event. The increase to Expel Harm I find quite annoying. It's never a button I pressed in the past, and it's hard to break my habit and start adding it back into my rotation, into something that's already pretty button heavy. The other change Blizzard made in freeing up an additional talent points was so that we could take Focus Thunder Tea, which I feel is a great change. It adds more variety and options to how we want to use the 2 charges of Thunder Focus Tea, giving us a little more agency. I think all the early flat buffs Blizzard made to our healing is also good for us overall. I believe I saw a post from Megaset that I think would also be a great addition to the spec, which would be to grant them that same 3-yard range to their melee skills that we see with Holy Paladins and some other melee classes. This would be a especially good change for those newer players in trying to get them into the spec, as it would give them a little more time to respond to frontal cleaves or other attacks while you're moving around mobs so that you're not next to your tank. I hope that you found this content helpful and learned something new. So far, I think Mistweaver Monk is looking to be a pretty strong healer and will continue to be as enjoyable as it was in previous patches. I hope that Blizzard continues to make small improvements to continue to try and get players into the spec. Let me know if you have any questions, thoughts, or feedback, and if there's any other content out there you'd like me to cover. Thanks for watching.